just takes a short while before you break that habit. So the first thing is we need to do is get out of the habit of eating when it's dark outside. Now, one of the best things you could do to get out of the habit of eating when it's dark outside is get rid of your TV sets, because there's nothing that will make us eat more than TV sets. You know, because the programmers know how to make us eat. They see the TV. There's a reason why, I'll give you the example at least of the American Super Bowl. There's a reason why an advertiser will pay $22 million for a 30-second spot. Because the advertisers know they control us. There's a reason why they call it programming. You know, I have a rule about TV. Unless I'm on it, don't watch it. One of the worst things you can do for your health is watch TV on a regular basis. Most people, while they're watching TV, they're doing it late at night while they're eating their microwave popcorn, you know, and so on. Another thing is get rid of the microwave oven. If you have the same obsession we have in this country we do in the United States, we're in trouble. You know, the TV and the microwave oven, those are two boxes you need to get rid of real soon. If you have too much of those two boxes in your life, you'll end up in a third box much sooner than you should. So we need to be careful. So now, that's stage one right there. You know, and I know what people say, and other excuse people say, well, I know what you're saying, I just don't have time to eat healthy. And I go, oh, really? Then I go to their house and do something crazy, like watching the Weather Channel 2 hours a night. And it's not even when they live. That's how crazy it is. So, I'll let you guys, I'll let that sink in. Great. So then, you know, so that's stage one. Get out of the habit of eating when it's dark outside. Stage number two is if you live in Alaska or a place where it's always light outside, stage number two would be get out of the habit of eating after a certain time, like 5 o'clock or 5:30 at night. For example, the ideal time, you know, between 9 and 5, maybe between 8 and 5. But after 5 o'clock, I'm done eating. So eat as much as you need to eat during the daytime. So after 5 o'clock, you're no longer hungry. So if you're going to sleep at 9, 10, or 11 o'clock, you know for sure you're going to sleep on an empty stomach. Now, if you get hungry after that, maybe having a cup of herbal tea with no caffeine in it, or even a green vegetable juice that's strained might do the trick. But no food after that time. That's step number two. And step number three is continue to eat only between the hours of 8:30 and 9, 8:30 and 5, or 5:30, but only eat 2 meals a day, or 3 at the most, and that's it. 2 times a day, or 3 at the most, and that's it. That's step number 3. Now, the ideal time for us to eat our food would be the 3rd and the 9th hour of daylight. The problem with that thinking is, you know, if we live off a man-made clock, we don't understand the daylight is never the same. Every single day it changes. 7 o'clock in the summer it might be light outside, or 7 o'clock in the winter it's dark outside. So if we are going to eat at the ideal time, we got to look at how to tell time. And the real way to tell time is to understand it goes by the sun and the moon. Understanding that there are 12 hours of a day and 12 hours of a night, but there's not 60 minutes in an hour. The amount of minutes in an hour should be determined by you taking sunset and sunrise and dividing that by 12, and that's how you will determine it. And in the summer it's less, in the winter it's more, in the daylight and so on. And then you'll see right now how amazing our Creator is, because everything that grows locally in the summertime, when the days are longer and we can eat a little bit more, is lighter and digests better. Where in the winter time the foods are heavier and sustain us longer, but we have less time to eat, but since the food sustain us longer, if we're eating the type of food we should be eating, it all works perfectly until we start doing things against the way we're designed to do them. Does everyone understand that? Okay. Now, the next instructions you're going to have to follow very carefully. When we take a 5-minute break, it means 5 minutes, and it also means, you know, there's more than enough time for you to get my books back there. This is not a ploy or anything else, but I don't have enough books for everyone here. So if you want to get a book, you know, get it soon, and Radu will have more books for sale in the future. But if you want to get one, you can get it during the break or after. However, during the break, no questions. I promise you, after the break, I will take questions, but I don't want to answer the same question from 6 different individuals when everyone else wants to know the same answer, so I'll answer it to everyone. You might think you have a personal question that's just for you, but you'd be surprised how everyone else has that question or that issue. So please, 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 no questions during the break. I'll do it right after the break, 5 minutes after. You can go to the bathroom, you can get my book, or you can do it the other way and get my book and then go to the bathroom, but chances are you'll be home in 5 minutes in that case. So we're going to take a 5-minute break now, and then when we come back, will do the questions, and then Cosmic Dave over here is going to tell me what to remember. All right, we're going to start a 5-minute break. Now, all right, time's up.
The bathroom of
It's so great to see how everyone was motivated by what I said and you didn't eat tonight. Not yet. Okay. So.
I've only got 2 questions for you.
No, I'm not asking you questions. Cosmic Dave. I'm not asking you questions.
Okay.
I'm not doing questions yet. You're going to remind me of what we're going to say.
I just really wanted to remind you to tell us the best way to de-stress.
Okay, thank you. Before we do that, I also asked Tim to remind me something else, which was why I'm no longer on the World Vegan Diet after 15 years. Thank you, good job. Okay, here it is. After being on a 100% raw vegan diet for 15 years, I decided that, you know, it was time for me not just to go to my regular doctor and get just minor blood work done, but to get an extensive blood work done. And that's when I found Dr. Shandell in the longevity blood profile test on caprofile.net. Now, I felt great. I felt amazing eating this way. But then when I went there and I got the blood test, things didn't come out as well as they should have. They didn't come out that great. Now, they weren't that bad, but they weren't certainly as well as I felt. And that's when I realized by how we feel shouldn't be the only way by what we're doing. What happened from there was, you know, that's when I started to experiment and read and started to play around with the daylight diet. There were some times where I only ate at night and for months at a time and see my blood work, where it's only eating in the daytime to see my blood work, and seeing how much better it was when I stopped eating at night. My sleeping was better. That's when the body cleanses. That's when it takes place in everything else. So I saw that, and then finally, I would have my friends go who are on a raw diet and get tested, and they would have similar issues and similar cures by going on a daylight diet. But from there, I started to do, and like I said, each person has their own belief system and everything else, but for me, everything I do in life, my whole life is dictated and monitored by the word of our Creator. To live according to His word is what I desire to do. Well, I got confused because the 2 things that really got me sick from my diet was not necessarily cooked food. It was wheat products and dairy products. So dairy is one thing that I was told and I knew I had to stay away from. Because when I was, you know, at my bathroom floor, before I knew about health, laying on the bathroom floor in excruciating pain with the bowl full of blood, I went from 116 pounds to 116 pounds in a matter of weeks, not knowing what to do, not knowing about health. I gave up on life. I just wanted to be big and strong, and it seemed the more I ate, the more weight I lost, and the worse I felt. I didn't know what to do. Everything in my life was going bad at that point. Well, that's when I decided. I didn't know anything about fasting. All I knew was I was in pain anytime I ate, so that's when I decided I was going to stop eating and see what happened. I was scared, but I wasn't trying to commit suicide. I wasn't trying to starve myself, but I couldn't go on living like this. So I went in bed and I laid down, and for 3 days I didn't eat anything. I just took small sips of water. And after 3 days, I started to feel better. So I didn't know what to do. So then I thought, let me get on the scale and see how much weight I lost in those 3 days. So I went on the scale and I actually put on a pound. Now I was really confused. Here I was trying to put on weight, and the more I ate, the more I lost, and then I stopped putting on weight, and I stopped eating, and I put on weight. And that's when I went on a lifelong journey to study health and digestion. And what it led me to understand was that dairy products were contributing to inflammation in my body, mucus in the body, and very bad for my condition. So staying away from dairy products and wheat products, because processed wheat products have something in there called wheat gluten, which acts like glue in the body. The most popular disease out there now from that is a celiac disease, but everyone has a slight allergy or a reaction if they haven't been adjusted or adapted to it, is through wheat gluten products. So here I was, as long as I avoided those, I was doing great, the raw food diet, I felt great and everything else. But then, as I was studying the scriptures and everything else, something very puzzling happened. As I was reading it, it referred to several times about the land of milk and honey. And it was talking about